up, everybody? Welcome to the Wingin It podcast. Jack, how you doing, man?
Hey, look, man, I'm just living my life through these rumors. Just taking it one rumor at a time, and being in my
Oh,
disappointment that Nintendo is not doing what I had in my head. Like they are to read my mind and execute based off of my thought process. And I'm entitled to be upset with them because this is what they do. They're not consumer friendly. All they do is just piss on us, and we give them money. We're the reason why they're even successful in the first place. So I don't even know why we even have to go through this. But yeah, that's me. Yeah.
I'm so glad we're not
Uh,
monetized.
I was about to say, with that comment toward the end with them pissing on us. Don't you think you got that mixed up with Sony? I mean, Sony want to be dropping out peripherals at expensive prices, thinking that they Apple
Sony is the one that's pushing us forward. Sony just dropped
pushing
the
us forward
PS5 Pro.
into debt. Yes, thank you.
They dropped the PS5 Pro. They doing
Good
their
job,
own, PSSR. They didn't count Nvidia and AMD. That's more creative that they
Oh,
made
you
their
mean
own.
they spent more money to do the same thing?
That ain't the point. What I'm saying is they're pushing us forward. Sometimes you gotta spend money to move forward, sir. It costs money. It
So
takes
they
money to make
spent more
money.
money. They spent more money to make less money.
Hey, look, sir, you getting into the semantics. I'm just trying to tell you what they're doing on the surface, sir. You ain't getting into all that.
I mean, look, PSVR 2 can't play PSVR games. I mean,
Look, hey, we don't. Yeah, you gonna strike a nerve with me on that one. Don't even get me started on that. But yeah, that's the one people prefer. Okay.
Aren't they like 600 million in debt off 2 games?
Look, Concord.
Concord and Spider-Man. Remember, Spider-Man was 200.
Look,
Concord
Concord
was the slap though. They didn't make any money back off Concord.
Yeah, they did.
Concord gonna pull a No Man's Sky. That's what I tell you. It's gonna pull No Man's Sky. Y'all gonna forget all about it.
How the studio's closed down.
Hey.
Studio. That game got canned 2 weeks after it was out.
On social media and online, I don't have to get details, sir.
All to the noteworthy number of 24,000 purchases.
I think it was, yeah.
24,000 total purchases. That's digital and physical. Ooh.
Yeah.
Y'all getting in too much, man. Just look at the surface level shit, man. Y'all worry about too much, man.
Hey, look, I dealt with surface level stuff on Friday with all. So maybe I'm just stuck on that mindset right now. I'm dealing with surface level.
I'm so glad we're not monetized. All right, Andre, man. What about you, man? How you doing, man?
I mean, I'm doing good. Look, outside of my one confused argument this week, I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, I was right there with you.
Confused as hell. Like,
bruh,
what you're saying is not what you mean is not what you're saying.
Correct.
Once I figured out what you meant, and after that, I made my last comment, left it alone.
Yeah.
But if you mean one thing, please say the thing you mean. Don't say something that alludes to a completely different thing when you mean one thing. If you mean the sky is blue, don't tell me it's purple. Because I'm going to look up there like, that's blue. What are you talking about? So if you're going to tell me that my cup here is hot and I touch it and it's cold, I'm going to question your sanity.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm good. Outside of potentially ribbing people, I'm good.
Let me add something to this because I feel like I have to say this at least once a year. Every year I have to say this. I'm not going to address it fully, Jack, but I will just say this. I am thankful for everybody that watches our vids. I truly am. On this channel, we have over 900 vids on this channel. If you don't like the intro or the outro, that's not a me problem.
Oh, he went for it.
That's not a me problem. All right. And I ain't changing it. Second thing.
Oh man.
You don't know me like that, partner. Third thing. just enjoy our stuff, man. We try to have a good time over here, man. We try to have a good time. We play, we joke. Ask everybody in chat. Chat, don't we play and joke? We play and joke, right? Chat.
We try.
We try.
We try to play and joke, right? Chat. Like everybody try to have a good time here.
But we're not allowed to.
So if you come, and I try to be polite to everybody, but
we try.
If you sit up here and try to tell me what to do, understand one very important thing. I'm a grown ass man.
Zodi, you'd be surprised. This wasn't a risky thing. This wasn't a risky thing. This was somebody else.
Nah, this wasn't risky. But yeah, don't do that. Just don't do that. Like, don't do that. That's all I ask. That's all I ask, and I'll leave it at that. Just don't do that. All right. Respect me, I respect you. We'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Now, we good. Hey, Sandstorm, how you doing, man? I think he froze again.
I'm good. Man.
Oh, you good. Yeah.
And he froze again. All right. So,
hey, before we get started, can I answer a question in the chat before we get too far?
Sure.
It's from 8Ball 1970. So yes, right now I'm loving my Ambernick. So really, my son really won't touch nothing else at this point. I tell anybody, like, granted, yes, I have an Odin 2 that can play everything if we're talking about emulation, but it's something about that vertical form factor that just really makes you want to play everything. So I was gonna go with the indigo blue as well, but from all the reviews I was seeing, it looks like the color didn't match what they showed online, and I was like, okay, I'll just go for the white one, and then I plan to customize the buttons because you can buy like rainbow buttons for me to like open up and replace them. And then I've also bought like a silicone cover for it, but I love it. The one thing that I did get a recommendation on, and I don't know if you've already done it, and that's to get rid of the SD card that they gave you, which is like this no name brand 64 gig or whichever version you bought, and buy like 2 SD cards and do like a 2 SD card system to where you can have like everything on one SD card, and then on the other one is strictly the OS. And I downloaded and installed the Mu OS. And if you want to know how to do that, like verbatim, go to Retro Game Core. That dude teaches you everything about how to set these things up. And he has not only does he have a video, but on his website, he has a walkthrough with links on where to go to download the stuff that you need to actually get the stuff cared for without messing up your device. So Mu OS actually works better than the stock OS that they give you. But the weird thing is Dreamcast runs pretty bad on Mu OS, but everything else runs good. But Dreamcast runs great on the stock OS. I don't know why, it just does. So if Dreamcast is an option, stay with stock. But if you want to just have something that's customizable, because they do have themes and creators have made themes that you can download, then I would go with Mu OS because it works better. And then also too, it has a lot of themes and a lot of great functionality for something that is free, that you can put on your actual RG40XXV. So, but yeah. That's pretty dope though. So I'm congratulations on getting one as well. But yeah, we've been having a blast with it.
Oh, sweet. Was that VR?
No, it's a retro handheld. So Ambernick is a company that just makes a ton of retro handhelds in different form factors. So the 2 that they just released are this 40XSV, and then they also release a SP one. So it's like the clamshell like the SP. Yeah, so it's pretty dope. I mean, when you buy them, they send you the device with some games on them. Usually they're games you'll never play, but so it's easy to just like wipe it up, right? But it's cool for people that don't know how to do it, so you can kind of get your feet wet. But like I said, following Russ's guideline, get one 16 gigabyte one for the OS and get a 128 gig one on the other side because it has 2 SD card slots. And you can do it that way, and it runs flawless, and it's a great device, man. It really is.
I've been noticing like a lot of stuff been doing that lately with the retro handhelds and the retro stuff in HD. I'm like, that's actually pretty cool because like getting the like I have the one for the N64, the converter, that does not do good on a HD screen. I'm like,
at all.
Yeah, that's a bad thing to do. But yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a something you can get into like this rabbit hole about If you want like a 1-to-1 ratio form factor, you can get a 4x3, the 16x9s, and you got the DS style, you got a SP style, got the Game Boy style. So it's if you have something that you like, you can pretty much find it. And 9 times out of 10, either Ambernick, AYN, or Retroid, or even Pal Kitty makes it, and they usually don't go over $200. Most of these, like my RG40, was like $80.
Oh, that's cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
It wasn't expensive at all.
All right, so how you doing, man?
I'm good. Funny story, man. So I was having a moment. So earlier today, I was cleaning up the house, right? And like I had just started, and I'm like, man, I'm hot. And I've been feeling this way for like the last couple of days. Like, why is it just suspiciously like hot in my apartment?
Right.
And so I glanced past the thermostat, and it's at like 72. Normally I keep my stuff at like 68, 69. I glanced past, and I'm like, who touched my thermostat? So I call baby. I'm like, baby Sandstorm, did you touch my thermostat? Like, y'all know the rules. She's like, no. I think Nanny touched the thermostat and turned it up because she said it was cold in here. Man, so I'm like, I had her do my dirty work. I'm like, will you tell Nanny the next time she come into my house, she don't pay the bills around here. We do not pay the bills around here.
That is evil, by the way.
You tell her if she want to touch my thermostat, then she needs to come up on some money around here. And then I thought about it like, I know she gonna kill her and then turn around and kill me. So you tell Nanny, I said, if she gonna touch the thermostat, she need to put it back down before she leaves.
Dialed it back.
Let me take a couple notches off that.
Gotta get your baby destroyed.
All I'm saying is, if Nanny gonna be messing with stuff around here, she need to put things back. That's all I'm saying. All I'm trying to say.
Trying to get your child toe up.
She's like,
sacrificial
Nanny,
lamb.
For sure.
Like, Nanny said, Nanny's not gonna listen to me. Tell her that Dad said put that stuff back.
Mind your goddamn motherfucking
We got one dude trying to get his child killed. We got this is gonna be a fun episode tonight. All right, so first things first. When are we gonna stop listening to Digital Foundry?
Never.
I just want to know because they don't have a dev kit. They're not developers, but they're telling people what, and people are running with it.
Well, Digital Foundry said,
yeah, and I'm sitting here like, bro, wait a minute. So there was a post on Twitter where a dude was basically going back and forth with Shadow about the specs for the successor. And I'm sitting there like, how do you know that? I'm like, nobody knows. Well, Digital Foundry on the Patreon. If you got a Patreon for Digital Foundry,
so Digital Foundry is charging you for incorrect information.
That's what I was saying. I was like, wait a minute. You paid Digital Foundry. You paid Digital Foundry to lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Yo, no. So this is not. So first things first. I'm gonna say this on the first piece, and then I'm gonna say the second piece. But first things first. Digital Foundry is this generation's G4. So like anything that's said at this point, they run it with. Secondly, my man's made the biggest mistake in the world. He did not listen to anything until that point, because the part before that point, they literally say we have no clue what the actual specs are. We really just need to wait to see what the specs are and what Nintendo does with the system. Then they kind of go into a guesstimation. He just took all of that as facts.
But see, that's the thing. That's the problem. Because like they shouldn't even be doing that. They should be like, look, man, they shouldn't even be doing it, because this is the third time this has happened where they have said something, and I'm like, y'all don't have a dev kit. How can you sit there and say this? They say it like it's the truth. They don't say it like it's this is what I think it's going to probably be. They don't say it like that. They say it like, no, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And
'Cause he
so
literally-
people go run with it. And I'm like, now, now I don't have the Patreon, so I'm not paying
It's
them
out
to
now.
lie to me.
That video.
Oh, okay.
I say
Well,
people put it out anyway, so yeah.
So my thing is like that whole disclaimer part. I know why they put it in there, but when you're talking like it's fact, it don't matter what the disclaimer was. You're talking like it's fact. So why am I listening to you?
Because he even brought.
You're not a developer. Because if you were, you'd be under an NDA. You get sued you get sued.
Yeah.
So,
and that disclaimer in itself was kind of small. I mean, because he even said even if these are the actual specs for it, like we don't know, like Nintendo's working directly with Nvidia, so we don't know if they're going to add anything to this, subtract anything from this, and how that pipeline is going to look in the first place. So he's like, we don't know. But like you said, that disclaimer in it was very, very small, because everything after that was like, well, if we're going with these specs and this matches with this, then we can use the iPhone to match with this, and then this is what the Xbox One looks like. I know that's where the whole thing came from, but it was just like,
yeah, well, because you got people saying that the successor won't even be able to play PS4 games. Like, dude, the Switch is playing PS4 games.
The current Switch plays PS4 games.
What are you talking about? And there's a couple of games on there that was supposedly only could be played on the PS5. Pathless, Sifu. It's amazing what happens when you don't reach your sales numbers.
I mean,
or when you do reach your sales number.
It's amazing what happens when you don't reach sales expectations.
But I think the issue that we constantly run into as well is from chipsets and form factors. So I don't ever hear people go too crazy on laptops, but if you hear them, if you want to get into I want to do the high 4K 120 frames per second, people will tell you never pick up a laptop, but there are laptops that can truly do that.
There are
but then you have like that price factor that a lot of people don't take into account. Like you're going to pay a lot more than a desktop, but it's doable. But then when we look at like Nintendo's always had this stigma, like it can never keep up, it's never been powerful, blah blah blah. We all know that's not to be true. But then when you look at the Switch, because people joke on it so much, and then you have like I think somebody said it best. Digital Foundry coined this term impossible, or this what was
impossible
it?
port.
Yeah, the impossible port, which that's not true. It's just you got to learn how to optimize for it. So anything can happen, anything can run. It's just you got to be able to take the time to actually do it. And that's where the issues come in. So when they start talking about mobile chipsets and things of that nature, that's how I get into those arguments with people who's like, oh, even my iPad, my iPhone can run 2K. That's not the same 2K, genius. I was like, if you actually took a look at it and played it, nothing on the console 2K is on that doggone device. It's not even close. Like the Switch version, while it doesn't run at 60, it has more to give than the mobile version. And like somebody else even mentioned, when you like, even when we were just talking about retro, they were like, do I go and get like a retro handheld, or do I just do emulators on my phone? They said the key issue that's going to always run into your phone is not meant to have that type of heat to it. There is no fans, there's no holes for it to really heat. So that's why it's going to always be an issue. So go with the dedicated device, because it has ventilation, it has fans to compensate for that heat that is going to receive for those emulators. Same thing with the Switch. So you can be a fool all you want to and go get an iPhone 15, 16, whatever over a Switch if you want to, and try to use Yuzu or any of these other emulators. You're gonna look stupid, because a lot of operators turn it on, but they don't show you playing through the entirety of that game.
My thing is, though, why would you want to pay more money to do the same thing?
Because people are stupid.
You want to pay more money to be able to have access to the same things, where you could pay for the console and buy the games you want and support the people and developers that you actually like, versus paying for a super expensive phone so that you can pirate the games. And then not support the people that are putting the games out, even though you claim to like and love them so much.
Because now I think about it, iPhone 16 is like what, $1,200?
But the way people look at it is they go and they get it for like the monthly price, so they don't expect to pay it all up front.
Right,
but you still pay.
But you can do the same thing with the Switch, because Affirm exists. You can
Right.
go and do Affirm and do the same payment plan.
Yeah.
Actually, be even faster
Be
because
cheaper.
you could
Yeah.
pay what the $100 down for your Switch and then just finish the rest of it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well,
1200 versus 400 looks hella different.
Like, yeah, you doing that? Like,
Right.
you doing that over what? 8 weeks?
Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
tell me you'd rather have a pay plan that locks you in for 3 years versus a couple months? Okay.
Well, Doug Point, I agree with that. Because I know I'll use this example. Y'all remember in 2017 when Near Automata came out and
Yep.
everybody swore up and down
Mm.
it was 60 frames a second,
No, it
Mhm.
wasn't.
1080p.
It was not.
And it was not. And Digital Foundry was, this is how it's supposed to be played. Oh, there's no way this can run on a Nintendo console. Ain't no way. Enter 2020, and
Yeah.
we have Near Automata. Come to find out, not only was it not running at 60, 1080 60 on the Xbox and PlayStation and PC, it was running at 900.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But I thought it was running. I thought it was stable. That's why, once again, I'm like, I have a hard time believing people when they say I can see with the naked eye with between 60 and 30. No, you can't.
Nah, you
There,
can't.
again, I can, but
There's
that's
some
'cause
that
I'm
you can see.
constantly
There's some-
seeing it on a regular basis.
There's some. Notice I said there's some. There's
Some
not.
are very,
But
very
a lot
obvious.
of games play with you, play some trickery
Yeah.
with you because they somewhere between
Mhm.
45 and 50,
Yeah,
but claiming to be
Yeah.
60.
yeah.
Right.
That's the whole point. I'm like, dude, like we got people who sitting there. Dude, we had a person tell us that they can't see nothing. They can't play nothing. They ain't 60 frames a second.
Okay,
Because
those
they
are
So
eyes-
nice.
you can't watch no
I'm like-
TV.
I'm like,
like-
wait, what?
My first thought is,
Yeah.
how are you looking at a screen right now to even put this message in?
Yeah,
Right.
because I'm sitting there. I'm like, dude, if that is really the truth, you need to go see an optometrist. Something's wrong with
You
your
really
eyes.
do. Yeah.
That is not that.
They might need to see a neurologist at that.
Yeah, because I'm like, something is wrong with your eyes if you really. Because, dude, that means you can't watch a movie. You didn't watch any movie that came out this past year because it was all in 24.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It was all 24 frames a second.
Even the ones that have boosted frame rates are at 48 a second, so you can't
Yeah.
watch nothing.
You can't watch
Mhm.
nothing. Which I just wish people would stop lying. I
Yeah.
really wish they would stop.
But
lying.
it goes back into a lot of what I was hearing this week. Is that I need to be a part of the conversation crowd. Like they'll spew whatever to be a part of the conversation, and then also too being very weary of those blue check marks. Like they're doing it for
Oh yeah, they
engagement.
definitely doing it. For
Engagement.
That's
Yeah.
why, like, there's sometimes I really want to get in conversations with
But I'm
something
like,
that's like,
look at,
I
like,
see that blue check mark. I'm like, nah, buddy.
Nah,
You're not
ain't
getting a check
baby.
off of me.
nah, you ain't getting paid off me. Hell no. The devil is a show enough. Like you ain't getting paid off me.
Here's something to consider. If game consoles and PC are that comparable to each other, why are there still issues with people trying to emulate N64 games
Yep.
on high-end PCs?
Yes. Yep.
Why are
There's-
there people still having issues emulating N64?
I mean, Saturn just got decent not too long ago.
Saturn and Dreamcast. There was some
Yeah,
Dreamcast
Saturn-
games that wasn't.
The
Yeah.
Dreamcast was horrible for a good
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
But then the dude that I follow, what's the one I posted the video, the one that does the breakdown on the N64 on a regular basis because he's working on that Mario game.
Mhm.
He even he's found stuff based on stuff going on in the community that there are functions in the 64 that a PC just can't do. Like
There you
it
go.
literally just
Yeah,
can't
you
do them.
just sent that video, right? Where
I
you
sent it,
talking
like,
about
last week.
operations.
I
Yeah,
think
and
it was
then-
last week I put it out there, but there are functions in the N64 that just cannot be performed by a PC. So that means any game console that has any specialty hardware in it potentially has functions that a PC can't even emulate. Like
Wouldn't that be the same for Wii? Like
Yeah.
the Wii, that would be the
Yeah.
same for Wii.
be the same for the
Like-
Wii U.
Yeah.
There's
The-
a lot of workarounds that people do for Wii emulation and Wii U emulation. Like,
there's a lot
they'll
of
break their necks
blunt
for it.
force trauma happening.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is.
I remember the Xenoblade Chronicles X port that people swore up and down worked, but once you get to chapter 4, it stopped working.
I'm telling you, like that's why I always like, for me, content creation we do this for fun and then also to educate. But when you look at it as a cash cow, you can screw a lot of people over because looking at all of these emulators and games and things of that nature, and you got people buying product to say, oh, this is how you can emulate a Switch and you can download all these games. Tell them how much of that library they can actually play, and then how much of the games can be completed. And it's a very small list.
But if they say that they'll lose half their subscribers. They can't do that. That's why I'm like, I know I make the joke all the time that I'm saying I'm so glad we're not monetized, but I really am, because we don't have to worry about being beholden to sponsors.
Right.
Say we like stuff that we don't like, or have to push stuff that's just not true. Like we don't have to do
I feel like even if we did get monetized, right, we would accept the sponsors that make sense, and then let the sponsor know this is how we're going to take it. Like we're not going to soft shoe just because you're sponsored. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
if you put out some BS, we're gonna call it BS.
Right.
For sure. Like, and if you walk away, you walk away. Then that just lets me know your product is what it is. So I mean, that's just what it is. But honestly, I mean, when we get into it's risky. But yeah, when we get into like what people are willing to accept is very telling. Like, you know, Jazzy said the same thing. Like, when the Steam Deck showed up, everybody broke their neck. Like, oh, it's because it's playing those type of games and it's a handheld PC. That shouldn't be justified. If anything, you said that it's stronger than the Switch, so that means that it should be doing more. But if it's doing what's on par,
it should do way more.
Remember when it went from like, 40 frames a second is fine, it's the sweet spot. Like, what?
Right.
I was like, that wasn't the sweet spot when it was happening on the Switch, though.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Listen, shout outs to Risky, man, because he came on the channel yesterday, and he asked me a question that needed to be asked. He asked me a question that needed to be asked, and I was truthful, man, and I needed it because it was a reflection on how the industry is. But he asked a question. He said, who got the worst fans? PC, Xbox, Nintendo, or Sony? And you know, I said in the early 2000s, it probably would have been the PC cats. They was top flight with the PC master race and blah blah and blah blah blah. I said, but now I said it's hands down, absolutely, without a doubt, the Sony fans. Like it's 1,000%. Like there's something clinically wrong with Sony fans. They like the delusion is out of there for me. Like I don't understand it. Like when they do good. Like you look at the PS4 and the sales and all that stuff, and they do good. They're like, yes, we got the best system. We making sales. We got all the games. Blah 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 blah. But then you get to the PS5, and they like, instead of self-reflection, like even Xbox fans do self-reflection. Like,
from time to time,
system kind of trash. We ain't getting what we want. Blah 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 blah. Nintendo fans, we already had that with the Wii U. Like, yo, these games are good, but we ain't getting blah blah blah. Sony fans, well,
say something 1 second. Risky, I'm only gonna say this one time.
Don't.
Keep going.
Sony fans is in like full delusion. Like instead of self-reflection, they like to point the finger. Like, your system trash. Your system trash. Your system ain't even come out and it's already trash. I'm telling you, it's already trash. It's trash. It's trash. And you're like, but where your games at? Like, how come you online right now and spending your time talking about other people's systems instead of playing your game? Oh, that's right, because you ain't got no game. That's why you over here. But but our system is 4K 60. Where's the asterisk at? Because it's not every game. But we got 60 frames
4K
per
or 60.
Yeah. Hey, PS5 Pro is the strongest console out. But
4K or 60.
You ain't got no games though.
Not
but
showcase,
we're still number one. You know what? Your system is trash. That's what it is. Your system is trash.
Was a waste of money.
It's wild. They don't self-reflect, man. I think they're sick. I think they need some medicine. Like he needs some milk. That's what he needs.
They need to go buy Astrobot. That's what they need to do.
Thank you.
Go buy that game. Go buy your greatness that y'all got sitting on your platform right now. Go pay some money to make sure that this team stays with Sony and they don't go under because they ain't making enough money.
It's wild to me.
For a game of the year.
So I just wanted to cycle back and just say, thanks to Risky because he asked that question. That question needed to be asked, so it could be said. 'Cause I feel like that's a conversation that nobody really talks about. Like how sick these Sony fans are when your own system ain't doing so well. And I'm not even talking about like sales wise. Like
Right.
you really ain't got no games from your own people, and they already don't make that many games in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Really don't.
Like, but
That's why I
instead of
take
being like,
that's why I take my hat off to Jack Move Johnny. Like he will call out Sony up front. Like, hey, where's the indie support? Where are the games that like this game wasn't the greatest fit? People are not buying it. Like he'll call them out and they'll bum rush him like immediately. But he stand on all 10. Like, hey, no, I'm being very serious. Like, I want to see Sony do better. So therefore, I'm gonna call them out for it while the rest of y'all are delusional. Because even with the same comment, like, yeah, Astrobot may have one game of the year, but look at the sales of Astrobot versus Mario.
Right.
Astrobot would never reach Mario. You can give them all the awards they want to, but they're not getting the return as into what they invested into the game.
Nah.
I know which one the Sony execs would rather want.
Exactly. Right. They want Astro to be Mario, not the other way around.
Right.
Tell you that much.
I know that. So, but all that to say this. So, and this came up last week because of the stuff that Jack, you and Andre, y'all know about what y'all had it direct contact with that one. So the question does come: does Nintendo still have control of the messaging around the successor? I believe they do, because ain't nobody. It's on them. Like everybody's making stuff up, so they still control the messaging. It's not that hard to see. They'll do it when they already have it planned to do. They're gonna do it. They're gonna stick to whatever plan they have. So I think the problem is now people trying to force their hand, which
for sure,
is never gonna work. Happen. It's not gonna happen.
Try to Bugs Bunny them.
Yeah, like, that ain't gonna work, dude. Once again, today is January 12th. The end of the fiscal year is March 31st, 2025.
Yep.
So as long as they do their reveal within this time frame, they've done what they said they were gonna do. You know, they didn't do anything. They did not lie or anything like that. They've done what they said they're gonna do. So I think they still control the messaging.
Yeah,
I mean, they still got control of it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Even if let's say all this stuff is true, right? Everything that people are showcasing is true. We didn't expect it to be anything different. Like,
not really.
We expected them to keep the same form factor, but the one thing that we haven't seen, what that C button does, what that UI look like, what those games run like.
Yeah,
we don't know none of that.
You don't know what the features are.
Because it comes back full circle to what I said. For anybody that thought it was going to go all the way into the fall, they don't need that much time to market. They really don't. They did all of that for 8 years, showing you what the Switch did. If I'm telling you this is just an upgrade to what the last one did, what am I spending 6 months showcasing to you for? Like that's
nothing.
There's no point
doing
that.
That's people wanting stuff to play to their ego.
Yeah,
exactly. And then even for those that, like I said in my video, that were still stuck in the status quo of the old days where everybody released in the holidays, Nintendo changed that last generation. So it's like, okay, they changed it up. And even if you think about from a business perspective, right? I would like to say, let me drop in March, April, whatever, get those sales because people gonna show up day one.
Yeah,
get those sales out the way, build up a catalog so I can hit you upside the head again come the holidays with a catalog. Because let's be honest, if I release on around Christmas time frame or in the holidays where people are spending for Black Friday, I don't know what to pick up because no one's reviewed, no one's played, nothing has spawned from that at all.
And you got to deal with your competition who already had games out all year.
Exactly.
So
there
it's
you go.
best to drop at the first beginning of the year as soon as your fiscal year is done. That's what they did in 2017. You got a full year. So that to them, that's smart.
It's smart.
I don't understand why other people don't do that either. Like it's kind of like when you watching movies, like January and February and March are dead months. If I'm Marvel or DC, why wouldn't I drop my superhero movie in February or March? It's a dead
Yeah.
month. I'm a rule the month.
Yep.
I'm gonna rule the month. If I drop in June or July and I got to deal with Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, I just cut my money in half right there. But if I drop in February, well, the only thing I got to worry about is a Nicholas Sparks movie. All the action heads are gonna be like, yes, thank you. So I ain't gotta go watch this BS.
And listen, this is something that I said. I think I said it on Andre's, and then I actually said it in the video last night on live. Like, it honestly did not matter how Nintendo moved with this console anyway, and it's crazy because it's I fact check with Andre, but like this has got to be the most hyped system to date. What's up?
Risky. I know you trying to troll, bro, but don't make a joke about that. That's going far. Crazy. That's too far, bro.
Way too far.
That has nothing. That ain't got nothing to do with Nintendo.
Nothing.
So don't even carry that like that. That ain't got nothing to do with Nintendo, and that has nothing to do with this discussion. Don't do that again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Risky. I done told you. I'm not in the mood, dude.
See, you're gonna get blocked on their channel.
No, the stuff in California that's happening right now is not something you should be joking about.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
Don't even put that. Don't even combine the two.
So what I was gonna say is all this talk and all these leaks and all this stuff that we've gotten since pretty much the second or the first of the year, all the way up until this point, and showing off this and showing off that, and you know, it's funny because every single day we've seen or heard somebody be like, Nintendo screwed up, like y'all messing up, like y'all letting other people, you know, show off the system at this point. You guys might as well just show it off. They're showing off everything. They're showing off the motherboard. They're showing off look, there's the system right there. They're showing off everything. Everything's been shown off. They've ruined the chances for it to be a surprise for Nintendo. They might as well just show it off. But the funny thing is like Nintendo hasn't moved yet. And in reality, it's making these guys go crazy. Like it's really on some unhealthy pressure on people. And it's like I said, I've never, not in my experience of being in the gaming community, have ever seen this level happen. Like this is the main focus for everybody collectively. Sony, Xbox, PC, everybody is focused on what is coming next for this system. Where we gonna be at? What level? What games? Is crazy. And Nintendo's like, nah, like I'm good.
We cool.
Hey, keep going.
But think about it. You have the big joker. You have the big joker right now. You just you're still selling. You didn't drop the price at all. You're close to being the best-selling console in history. So, look, Sony can keep changing numbers all they want to, but we know what it is. You're not about to change this after 10 plus years, dude. Stop.
Come on.
Can't do that.
I mean, look, remember we had that conversation. If that's the case where they can just randomly change numbers, then everybody can do it. So we could theoretically change the Wii U from being 14 million to 30 million if we wanted to, just as easily. Especially since everybody considered the gamepad to be a console in and of itself, so they were selling you 2 consoles at a time. They go double up your numbers right off that.
But I mean, the ball is in their court. My thing is this: I get it. Everybody's fiending, and you can look at this from a multitude of ways. I express, you got the content creators, they fiending because they need content. That's why I say I take my hat off to Prime. People may be annoyed, but that joker find a way to milk this dog on calendar.
He definitely
he is working hard. I take my hat off to anybody that can find a way to do that. But also too, like you said, Xbox and PlayStation, they what they about to do. Because now we really gotta do something at this point. Because Xbox, I think, already kind of have their move. I don't think they really can make anything different happen in reality because they just really don't have the leverage at this point.
Right.
But Sony really has to pay attention to what's happening Because at the end of the day, if this Switch, the one that people always joke on, can't run this, impossible port, sold that, okay. What is this one going to do with it being backed up by DLSS, which by the way is better than PSSR, and is also built around? Because that was another thing too, where I think Shadow mentioned, where you think about DLSS in PC is not geared towards one rig, but this is a system that is built with it in mind, and it's a closed off system. So now you're looking at something that is dedicated for it for the first time. There is no device that is dedicated for DLSS. So if you do that, along with Nintendo's credibility and their marketability and their exclusives, and then you have the third-party crowds that have to show up because, as we see, you spend 200, 300 mil and get jack shit back. Like this, like I'm coming. I'm coming. Hey, Nintendo, let me know when you drop it so I can drop my game actually the day before, because I want people to walk in the store and see my game before.
Can I get a dev kit? Can I get a dev kit? That's basically what they do. Can I get a dev kit?
I'm still wondering though, like all these companies, I know they have B and C tier teams that come up with ideas on the regular. Why not even just take those ideas and throw them on the Switch? One, you're not spending as much money.
No, you're not.
You get to see if something's interesting to people, and you have a test market, but y'all don't want to use it.
Right.
So
I know me and Shadow was talking about this, how like Yeast 10 and Prince of Persia Lost Crown, the Switch was the lead platform.
Yep.
And guess what? With Switch being the lead platform on PS5 and on Xbox Series X for S and X for Prince of Persia, that's how they were able to get the 4K 60 to work. Yep. I keep going back to this because Marvel's Avengers, I remember getting that email from Square Enix telling me that, hey, if you want to play this game in 60 frames a second, it is locked at 1080. If you want to play in 4K, it's locked at 30. That was an email that they sent out to people because the initial reveal said it was going to be 4K 60, and that was not the case. Same thing with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, you claim that your systems are so powerful, but it ain't doing what you said it can do.
And here's another key point that kind of centers around what Lek is saying, right? If we really stop and think about what most developers have been doing, and that's like re-releasing games with remakes or whatever the case may be, you have an ability to have a Switch 2, which is backwards compatible with the Switch, have a massive library of games that date back to the PS2, and have that entire library on that console. Like I would imagine Square is going to rectify that mistake they made by putting Kingdom Hearts on the cloud and make it an actual game that is on the console.
It should have been on there.
Because right now we're looking at something too where once March 20th hits, the entire Xenoblade series is on one device. Like that's going to be a thing. Same thing with Metroid. Same thing with a host of games when you include like Nintendo Switch Online. They have an ability to go and get a PS2 library, mix it with the PS4, PS3 library, and these new games. You really could have everything on one device and have it portably on top of it. And that's scary.
Jazzy, thanks for saying this because I completely forgot. Monster Hunter Rise is running the RE engine. The same RE engine that said it could not run on the what? Okay. You want to know what else runs? Uses the RE engine, Street Fighter 6, and I've seen people tell Shadow that it can't play. Street Fighter 6 can't play on the. Bruh, yeah, it can.
I'm telling you, y'all gotta stop playing the eye test.
People forget that settings can be dialed down, and on top of that, the Switch is a specific target. If Microsoft, if Capcom decided they wouldn't use the sound chip in the Switch, that's part of the bandwidth taken off. Yeah. Then on top of that, you've got dedicated hardware specifically for gaming with a very, very light OS on there. It's not like it's going to be on PC or on Xbox or PlayStation where the OS takes up 3/4 of the RAM.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
It's going to be on a machine that doesn't require as much work, and you just run it at a lower resolution.
Right.
Now, the only thing is we got to make sure Capcom gets a lot of Benadryl because they're allergic to money.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm excited because like my wife was asking, she was like, "Why is there so much like like attention around this. I said, because it's a big thing for gamers. I said, but at the same time too, like Nintendo has the ability to pull something off that most people thought they could never pull off.
Yeah.
And it's really like inject life back into gaming again. Like not for the first time, but again, because they saved it with the NES and they can just do it again. And like I said, as much as people want to claim that gaming isn't in a dire strait right now to where like people are really grasping for something, it is. You know what I mean? Like the grayscale games, shoot this, zombie that, is getting played out.
It's getting
like,
old.
It's getting old, man. Like role play, like yeah, it's getting old at this point. So whenever you look at a developer or a manufacturer to put life into gaming, that's a tall task, but nobody in this chat can really say, oh, Nintendo's not the one to do it, because they really can do it. I mean, really, if you stop and think about it, they've already done it.
They've already done it, yeah.
Because if you think about the Switch, all these articles about, oh, well, they got competition this time around, that competition wouldn't be there if they didn't succeed with the Switch. Like, and even then, I don't even count it competition because PC handhelds can't be had everywhere. That's why I had the argument with somebody about too, of like, oh, well, what about the Steam Deck and ROG Ally? I said Steam Deck can only be purchased in 2 spots. That's on Valve Store and at GameStop. ROG Ally can only be purchased at Best Buy. You can get Nintendo's anywhere. That's where they get hurt, because they're in only select spots. Not to mention the freaking price, and then people that make returns. My ROG Ally is used solely because somebody did not know how to update all 4 or 5 parts of that damn device. Like there's like, you can't just hit update and it updates everything.
Right.
You got to go to ASUS's app. You got to go to Armor Crate app. Yeah, you got to go to each one and update them. So it's a hassle. But yeah, I'm just ready for it, man. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, in that case, yeah, we did get a Xenoblade Chronicles X trailer, a new one, and you know what? Let's just
new content and everything, boy. Let's
go on and watch that right quick.
There's only one way to make this sweeter. If our idea of the Switch 2 works, double screen.
Listen, I'm telling you, nobody can tell me no until I actually see this game in action with a Switch 2. Like if that original Switch worked with it, bro, it's lights out, because that just opened up everything for everybody. Like, oh, y'all said y'all didn't want this Wii U. Guess what? The Wii U in your hands now. It's in your hands. You bought it the same way you bought the PlayStation 5 Portal. Guess what? We tricked you. Gotcha. Gotcha.
And we'll be even crazy before we watch it. Real quick, we'll be even crazy, and I know it's not gonna happen, but they got the Nintendo Switch app, and they sell you a clip to where you can clip it to the Switch 2, and that'll be your top screen and the bottom screen.
Oh my god!
Talk to me.
Got a whole frame out for it. Like now you got a super DS, a super DS in your hand. You in trouble.
Microsoft
now.
already do it.
No.
Microsoft says attach your phone to this controller with your every.
Yeah.
Why can't Nintendo do it?
You in trouble.
Yeah, they do. All right, let's see. It's 3 minutes. About 3.5 minutes. So let's go.
J Biggs, I've been looking for flying cars since the early 90s, dude. The Jetsons had me geeked up for 2000 and it failed me.
Or that the decision would eventually be made for us. The ship had taken way too much damage to survive entering the atmosphere intact. We had no choice. We channeled all the power we had left to soft land the habitat. The White Whale was designed to carry an exceedingly large number of passengers, all of them held in stasis, all housed in a unit called the Life Hold. But the vast majority were in the Life Hold, are in the Life Hold. With any luck, they're all still there, in stasis, waiting to be rescued. What we don't know is exactly where all the pieces landed. Not very comforting, I know.
Oh, that jump.
This is the part I'm worried about.
I got a question after this, too.
Another day, another step. Slowly but surely, we're building a sustainable future for ourselves on this planet.
Remember, the clock is always ticking. We have to find that unit before it's too late.
Tornado blade!
Anytime you need a little extra help, give me a call. I happen to be a pretty competent pilot. That might be a skill you're in the market for.
Boy, that look clean.
Right.
Irina! Marcus! Run!
You must be purged. This is our calling as Ganglion, the cause of the righteous.
Son, is it possible this is their native planet?
We didn't know that before.
Troops, a trying battle awaits us, but we must repel the coming invasion, no matter what the cost.
Yes.
We're counting on you.
Civil War me now.
You're right to be afraid, little girl.
We need that light bulb unit, no matter what the cost. We came here to ensure the survival of the human race. The will to live is stronger than the will to destroy, Luxar. Let's go!
My only worry is that UI looked a little bit cluttered in comparison on the Wii U.
People still need me. Humanity still needs me.
Yo, I know who that is.
You're still alive.
I know who that is.
This scout was always leading the way.
Hey, Miss K.
Hey, Miss K.
I'm telling you, I know who that is. I know who it is now. Who's my man's from Xenoblade 3?
Which one, dude? Is like
you gonna say no?
The main character?
No. He's the one who's got the jacket.
The gunner, the metal jaguar dude, with the two guns.
No, he's the one who's got the. Is he got the heavy weapon? He's like the first of the three, and he becomes like the Titan or something like that. With who does he link up with? He links up with
Senna.
I think so.
You talking about Lance?
Yes, with the white hair, and you as soon as he turns around, you can see the gray. You can see his gray face. You're like, yeah, that's you. I know who it is. I know that's you.
Okay, I don't know if that's Lance, but all right. It'd be interesting. All I know is I saw an Ouroboros scale in there. I'm like, is my Aries going to work against that? That's all I want to know. Is my Aries going to work against that? Because I ain't got time to be trying to find another scale. I just got my Aries on my on the Wii U. Don't do this to me. But now, one thing I would give Monolith Soft, they are so good at their expansion stuff. Bro, so we getting a whole new area, so I'm like, I gotta.
You're getting a whole new location.
Yeah.
So question about this. So I mean, we've all played Xenoblade Chronicles X already. Now, do you think any of this is going to get shortened up in a way to where it lets you get to the scales a lot faster? Because I remember when they sold it to me, and I'm like scales, and I'm sitting there like 4 hours in. I was like, where in the hell is my scale?
The reason why you can't shorten it up because you need that time to learn the game. You need that time. I put a tweet out and I told people, I'm like, look, I think this game we're finna get a Metroid Dread situation. And what I mean by that is we had a lot of people for years claiming how much they love Metroid. Soon as Dread dropped, man, this game hard. I'm like, this is one of the easier Metroid games. What are you talking about?
To me, it's literally the easiest.
Yeah. No, what's really going to be said is the fact that we would pick up this game, but it's not like the Wii U version because it doesn't have a second screen.
Because my thing is
that version. What you talking about?
Because my thing is the whole thing with people picking it up is going to be like Wonderful 101. That's why I want to see a Treehouse Live for Xenoblade Chronicles X because I'm like, Wonderful 101, the superior version is the Wii U version. It's not
Yeah.
the Switch or the other version they did. It's the Wii U version. So I want a Treehouse Live because I want to know what we're doing about this secondary screen. I'm gonna have to pick it up anyway. But yeah,
the thing is, I think that they're going to like, especially with the options for like the different nodes that you can put down. I think they're going to try to streamline that
I mean that's probably the best thing to do.
There's no way they can do this without streamlining the options for that, like where you can just do it very quickly and you don't have to go work through all the options.
Now,
which will bring some limitations, but it would also make it easier to do it.
And plus, it'll make it faster from that standpoint too, because a lot of that game is you going after having to do all that. The nodes and all that stuff, you have to do that. That takes a good chunk of the game. If you streamline that, then yeah. But the reason why I think is they can't streamline it down till you get to the scale, because you got to learn how the overdrive system works. You got to learn how your path works. You got to learn all that stuff before you even
does
get to
that get trumped though? Now, because I mean, we saw the screenshots where they have like on the side showing you like in colors, like a color scheme of how to do the overdrive.
Yeah, but I think that's to help people. Like this is basically what they did with Xenoblade Chronicles X Defender, the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. They went back and like, okay, look, it's easier for you to get your combo if you do it this way. So that's to help people out. That's what I think they're going to do in response to that. The other thing too is like it's part of the story. Like you don't get the scale to chapter 5 until that. Spoilers for an over 10-year-old game. Until you get to that, till they come and attack the city the first time, you're not getting your scale till after that.
I wish somebody would have told me that, because I went into. I mean, when I'm saying sleepless nights, I'm just sitting. I was like, dang, okay, next chapter, I'm definitely gonna get it.
You're not.
Oh yeah,
I'm
gonna get it. I'm like,
you're
Jesus.
not alone. I was hitting side quests like crazy because I think I mean, at one point the scale, you have to have the scale, right?
Yeah,
like
you have to.
So I'm like, you know what? In order to get the scale though, like I'm probably gonna have to do a bunch of side quests though. Like I can see.
Well, you need to get your level up because there's a lot of stuff that got to happen on your way. Yeah.
So I'm like thinking like, okay, how this game has been working so far is that like you have to create these relationships with certain people in order to make certain actions happen. So I'm like, okay, maybe I have to like create a bond with as many people as possible to really even get this scale. I'm sure there's somebody who's like giving out licenses and I got to start having a relationship with them and all that. Like, so I feel you, Jack, like heavy time, like side quest.
And
Okay.
there's a ton of them in there.
Yeah.
There's a metric ton of them in there.
And it's like every new character you meet has like 3 or 4 just themselves.
Just for them.
Even side character, not even the side characters. The most NPC of NPCs.
Oh yeah.
Is like 2 or 3 of them. Like God,
but you know
what is busy.
But you know what I like about that though? And this is something that I'm like, I really hope this game does really, really well with the Switch, because they've done something that I have the biggest problem with MMOs with. Everybody throws a quest at you all at once and it gets convoluted. Your screen gets convoluted, your missions get convoluted, and it feels intimidating. But Xenoblade does it in the right way where it's like, okay, I can manage all this. Like I can go here, I can go here and do these things. Really, it is an MMO like just for a single person. But it has that MMO style, but it handles how you deal with side quests a whole lot better than all the other MMOs I played. Like it just those are so uncomfortable.
And it does have the MMO function because it does have that online function, which I hope, because I'm gonna need. I already know there's 2 timers I'm gonna need some help on.
I'm figuring that's why it took them forever to take it offline, because
people were still playing. I was still playing. I never beat Telethia. I never got a chance to beat Telethia. Every time I take my areas, I get cooked. I get it down to like this. I get cooked. I couldn't beat Telethia. So
you know it's a problem when you can fly right next to that thing and then be like, so engage me if you want to.
That's basically what it is. It's basically what it is. You're like, bro, and I've seen people beat Telethia. I could never do it. So that's the other reason why I kind of want to see how this goes, and if that new scale in their model is gettable, then I'm coming for Telethia neck. So that's basically that. All right, let's talk about something that I thought was a little fun. Now, look, y'all know I'm a movie head. I like movies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And this week, Sony came out and they want to make live action adaptations of Horizon Zero Dawn, Helldivers, Ghost of Tsushima, and a few other ones.
Right.
Now, here's my thing. Here's my thing, and work with me on this.
Mm-hmm.
Sony Pictures ain't got the best track record when it comes to like to doing this. I'm like, but they do have a good track record when it comes to animation, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My thing was Horizon Zero Dawn. Just animate that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Animate that.
Yeah,
Like,
at
they
first,
spend the money on the CG for that. That's going to be too expensive.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that's what I was just thinking. Like at first, if you were just dealing with like the people in itself, it could be very passable. I think it would be good as a live action. But then when you start getting into the robots and all
Yeah.
that gets
And the scale that they're supposed to be.
yeah.
Jazzy, that's the other thing too. Ghost of Tsushima. Do an anime. Y'all own Crunchyroll. Do an anime for it. Like,
that one makes sense. But I
Yeah.
think like with Horizon,
The
I
most
think
sense.
Horizon has kind of been between a rock and a hard place. Because
Mhm.
if the way I'm thinking about Horizon, y'all have already hit the nail on the head. If it goes live action, that's way too much. Like that's crazy. But then if it gets anywhere close to what the game already looks like, you're kind of running the risk of what Ratchet and Clank did. Because Ratchet and Clank dropped that movie and then dropped the game, and it was like, oh, this is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
People did-
and anime kind of have like a bad track record of doing that crap too, because it's like, oh, this movie's coming out. Like, oh, you doing a movie? In reality, it was just a recap of the first season. Like, you mother, like
Yeah,
you,
that's basically
you
what it
tricked me.
Yeah. Oh, the other one is Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal is the other one.
So Twisted Metal, I think, could probably work the best because we've already
Twisted
seen
Metal has
yeah,
a
it's
series.
already
It has
yeah,
a series.
yeah. Then again, they
Yeah.
already have
The first season was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're talking about doing that one into a movie. So
For what?
No, let the story
man.
breathe for a few
Yeah.
seasons first. Goodness.
Yeah. What
I
up?
can guarantee they don't have no game lined up for it.
Hey,
Oh no,
hell
absolutely
no.
not. Absolutely not.
Now, if it was $300 million, then of course they'd have a game for it.
I
But
think they should realistically. I think they should hire the Burnout team to see if
to
they
do
can
it,
Yeah, was that Criterion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Helldivers, I think you can pull off Helldivers because that's basically Starship Troopers.
I was about to say, yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
what I was
easily.
saying.
Yeah, easily. I think with the Ghost of Tsushima thing,
anime work best.
I think you can do either. You might be safe with live action as long as you don't get into the like the specials that he had, like the six slice thing where he, be jumping all across the screen and all that stuff. If you keep it very honed down, like I'm thinking of like Shogun.
Rurouni Kenshin movies?
Or the TV show. Yeah. Like even those. Like if you keep it really toned down and really realistic,
it could work. Okay.
It could work. But outside of that, like if you're trying to show him as sweet as possible, as sweet as he should be, I should say, then yeah, you're gonna have to move it over into the animation world.
Because the only thing that really worries me, to be in all honesty, is because look, Sony Pictures does not have the best reputation when it comes to writing this stuff.
No,
so
they don't.
The reason why Madam Web didn't work, the reason why Craven didn't work, the reason why Morbius didn't work, the reason why Venom 2 and 3 did not work was because the writing was all over. And really, the first Venom wasn't really that great. But guess what? It released in a dead month. It released in October, and they had no competition. So they wrongly believed that they had that they just had the bees. I'm like, bro, you don't, because your final fight between a black and a character and a gray character at night.
Right.
Nobody can see the fight.
I think too. If they just follow the script, and I think we say that about almost everything, every game to live movie adaptation. If they, but even more so Ghost of Tsushima, because it doesn't need any changes. Like script wise, it needs no changes. If you just follow that script, just how it is, all the key points, you can make your money.
Yeah.
Just don't change it. Just don't add no. Don't try and cater to the other people, the vocal minority. Don't be trying to
Yeah,
do all that
don't do
extra
that.
stuff.
They're gonna
Just
watch it anyway, so don't do that.
yeah, just keep it how it is, and
Yeah.
you said.
People
the other
complaining
thing,
about
too-
the existence of something because it don't cater to them, but you ain't gonna go watch it when it cater to you anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
So the only thing I'd say about Ghost of Tsushima is that the only thing I would probably really be worried about is if like there was a bunch of like remember the old Kung Fu Theater, Shaw Brothers stuff that used to show like every Saturday morning. If that was still a thing, I'd be worried because then it'd be like oversaturation. But that hadn't been a thing for
That
two and
hasn't
a
been a
half
thing for a
decades.
while.
Yeah. So you can actually get away with this. And what I would do is, just to be honest, just hire some people that know how to write. Just do that. Just do that. But I would say
you got the Nintendo people in there already. You might as well just walk down and be like, "Hey, can you guys look at something real quick?"
Because that's why I said like Helldivers. I can see doing live action because, like I said, we've already seen something like that before. We've seen Independence Day. We've seen Starship Troopers. That's that. But Horizon Zero Dawn and Ghost of Tsushima, I think, would fare better if it was anime, in my opinion. And to be fair, like back in the day, anime movies didn't do well over here in the States, but over the past like 10 years, they've been doing better and better. So you can actually put that in the theater and it'll make money. I mean, Dragon Ball made money, Spy Family made money, the My Hero Academia movies made money, Jujutsu Kaisen made money. Like you can make money doing this. So you just have to once again, you have to stick to your guns and hopefully it's a good movie. So I'm pulling for them because, the more good adaptations you get, the more people will be willing to go watch more stuff that comes out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that they do good. I just hope that when it comes to Sony Pictures, you don't know what you're going to get. You might get greatness like the Spider-Verse movies, and then you might get stuff like Morbius.
Right, that part.
It ain't no in between with them for some reason. It just ain't no in between.
No gray area.
Greatness or it ain't great. That's pretty much what it is. So that's why. But I thought that was interesting that they would go in that route, and especially the live action movie route on all three of them. I'm like, I wouldn't do all three of them like that. Just especially with Horizon, that's just gonna cost too much. But then again, Sony pretend like money ain't no object.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
Even though it is an object.
Yeah.
And they must got a sugar daddy somewhere because I don't know what Sony get
Right.
money.
Not a sugar daddy. Several.
It's the people. It's the people. It's the Japanese government. That's what's holding them on. Like, please, can we please?
Because I don't. Now to be fair, if they get the guys that did Godzilla -1 to do Horizon, they may be able to pull that off for $15 million. If they get them people to do it, because hey, they pulled off a Godzilla movie with $15 million.
Right, with 15, and made it look dope.
The only part that didn't look good was the first part where he was coming out the water and made him look cross-eyed. I don't know why they did that. But
listen, he needed the glasses.
The rest of that movie though, he was like the way they did the atomic breath with it like going up the spikes and the way he was Mike Tyson punching that building. I'm like, why was he bodying a building? Hey, I don't care. I'm here for it. So
right.
I'm like, now if they get that team to do Horizon Zero, I can see that working because they know how to work with $2.50. They know how to. So they can make it work. But if you start talking about this is gonna be $150 million movie, I'm like, bro, I don't know if you're gonna make all that back.
Right.
I really want you to make that back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I here's hoping. I'm gonna be optimistic with that. Because Uncharted wasn't a bad movie. I think it just came over. It wasn't bad. I've seen worse. Dragon Ball Evolution.
Of course, we all seen worse, but I'm not even putting it on that scale, sir.
Yeah.
Like,
Dragon Ball Evolution.
My thing is this: Uncharted should be a no-brainer. I don't know how you felt.
Should have been super easy.
It should have. That was a layup.
Because
didn't need Tom Holland.
Because of the problem of we've already seen Indiana Jones, and the problem is Tomb Raider and Uncharted is basically Indiana Jones.
Jones, yeah.
I think the thought was if we get Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, people will come see it. And I'm like, you do realize people saw the short that Nathan Fillion did, and they like that better.
Yeah.
I think he kind of missed it a little bit.
Well, they had an issue with trying to throw Tom Holland in everything, and I was like, he
Yeah.
doesn't need to be in everything.
No, but he needed to be in the Spider-Man movies. Y'all didn't do that.
Spider-Man, don't leave him in Spider-Man, but he didn't need to be Nathan Drake.
Right?
He needed to be in Venom. He needed to be in Venom. Yeah. He needed to be in at least Venom and Madam
all of them. He needed to be in all the relative.
Anything Spider-Man related, he should have been.
Yeah.
But Disney said, "No, y'all ain't having our boy."
No, Disney didn't say that.
It wasn't Disney. That was all Sony.
Oh, so oh wow.
There was an article where he was like, "Yeah, I told him I'd do it, but I never got a call." I'm like, "What?" So,
dang. Yeah, that was all Sony's mistakes there.
So they put him in everything but it's Spider-Man.
My thing with Sony is this: like, I feel like even though they have this idea, and I'm never saying don't do it, they've gone backwards, not to their own fault, but they've gone backwards. Really, these should have been movies first, and then games second, because you really spent all this time trying to make these cinematic games, and you want to bring it to theaters. I've seen the game already, sir. I've already seen this movie.
I've already seen.
I played this movie. Like the whole appeal is
has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. So, and the other thing that I want to talk about from the Microsoft side of things, there is a developer direct. It is
next week, right? Next
January 23rd. Nope, January 23rd.
Yeah.
1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and 6 p.m. GMT. There's one unknown game that they're talking about showing, which I'm thinking is probably going to be Perfect Dark. They're going to be showing Doom: The Dark Ages. They're going to be showing South of Midnight, and they're going to be showing the Expedition 33.
I don't care what else gets rumored. South of Midnight and Expedition 33 Switch 2. I need that because I have an Xbox and I may touch them depending on when these games come out. Damn. But because I mean they're going to be on Game Pass.
Yeah, they're going to be on Game Pass.
So but like I expressed in my on one of my posts, when that Switch 2 shows up, that's going to be my only device outside of like my Ambernick and my VR. I'm done doing the multi-console thing. Like I got to start building the catalog because at this point, like the other day, I was like, oh, I have Gotham Knights. I heard it got a lot better after a couple updates. I bought it on the PS5, and I don't have it anymore. So it's like my catalog's all over the place. So I'm like, nah, I gotta start honing in. I gotta start being an adult.
I think I'm in the same boat, man. I'm in the same boat because I was thinking about actually there was a point I was actually thinking about just doing a gaming rig and just have Nintendo in the rig, but I don't feel like going through all them headaches and jumping hoops. So right now I'm just that's why I haven't picked up a PS5 because I just said I'm just gonna stick with Microsoft and I'll get the third parties from Microsoft. So
my thing is Halo, that's cool. All those other games say rumored, that's cool. But Expedition 33, I know it's gonna be on both Xbox and PS5. And then I know, I don't think South of Midnight has heard anything.
They haven't said anything outside of Microsoft yet. So,
but if Microsoft feeling froggy and generous, and they just want to pass some games out,
right?
South of Midnight, I wouldn't mind playing that first on my Switch too. You know what I mean? We can do that.
Right.
And Dark Boy, I was gonna talk about this briefly. There has been a rumor going around that Microsoft is bringing stuff to both PS5 and the successor. My thing is this: they're probably going to do it, and Sony's probably going to do it too. And here's the reason why: these games cost too much. They're not making the money that they need to make back, so they're going to do whatever they got to do. Yeah, I just saw the Final Fantasy Rebirth PC trailer. They're going to put these games where they can make money, and you look. Because I think Doom Dark Ages is coming to the successor.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's day one.
And the thing about Halo Master Chief Collection coming, I can see that coming because I think, Andre, I told you this. Chief is probably going to be on the next Smash Brothers.
More than likely. Because Microsoft been trying to get him in there.
Yeah. Because they've been trying to, from what I understand, they've been trying to get him over the past 2 times. Like Snake was for GameCube. and they couldn't do it because he came too late. So I'm like this. I'm like, look, if that's what you got to do, I get it. Like Microsoft already planted the seeds for them basically being a third party. At this point, they already planted those seeds, and getting everybody ready for that. So I don't think it's as big of a shock to people. And I don't really think it's as big of a shock to Sony either, because like I said, you got games cost $200 million and you're not making it back, and it's $200 million before all the marketing.
Yeah,
and you're not making your money back, dude. Something got to give. You got Square Enix sitting there put out Final Fantasy 16, 7 Remaster, and 7 Rebirth, and neither one of them hit their sales expectations. Neither one of them. Something got to give. So, I mean, I can see them saying, "Okay, look, yeah, y'all going and we'll let the exclusivity ride. Y'all going because we don't need y'all to close down, and we're not buying y'all because y'all bleed money."
And for you Sony fans, that's like, ha 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 ha. Oh, don't be surprised some of your games pop up over on that system too.
Yeah.
Oh
it
yeah,
may not come to Xbox, but it may not come to Xbox, but it's coming to Switch too, pimp. Like,
and listen, this is what's gonna happen, because this is how they're gonna really spin it. Is that whatever game comes to the Switch, this is how you keep your camp in your camp without searching, because they're not gonna ask questions. They're just gonna see it for face facts, right? So the next Stellar Blade moves over to Switch, and they're gonna be like, yeah, but it's only 30 frames. You can only get the 4K 60 on the PS5 side, but really you can't. You can get it on both. They're just gonna leave it at that.
I don't even think they're gonna do that. They're just gonna be like, look, please buy this game. I don't think they're gonna.
They can't afford to play them stupid games like that. They really can't.
Yeah. Well,
they can't afford to.
They can't afford it because they've overspent.
Yeah,
that's their big problem. The biggest problem, and people get mad at me for saying it, but when companies pushed back in 7th generation, when everybody pushed HD the way that they did, that was the biggest mistake that they made.
Yep.
Because one, HD TVs weren't in that many homes at the time.
Nope.
And it was too expensive.
It made development more expensive. And each generation, y'all pushing this idea of higher and higher graphical bumps. And those higher and higher graphical bumps, HDR, ray tracing, and all this stuff that barely ever gets used is expensive.
Expensive.
So
I keep asking for more.
And then you want more and more and more. You want SSDs, which cost more money. You want it to go ahead and have a device that's $200 with a screen on it to use to have off TV play like a $300 console does out the box.
Yeah,
that's
that you openly mocked. That you openly mocked for doing that, by the way.
Yeah. Because like at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if Sony says, "All right, cool, let's take the 4K assets out of Horizon and make sure that 1080p assets, because we already know on the Switch 2 DLSS will make up for it. It's gonna be a smaller file size. Let's give it another spin. Maybe Nintendo's crowd will mess with it, because obviously our crowd ain't playing with it. So let's do that. Let's see where we can truly flourish. And then also too, if they don't buy Astro, that can be the same thing, because even
that's going to pop right over the Switch
for sure. Right. Like even though
it'll make money, it'll make bank when it does.
It's gonna kill. But even though I feel like a lot of that game gets taken away when you take away the DualSense, Jay is right. Like it can still play. Like it's not like you're missing anything gameplay wise. But as far as the feel will be gone, because you can't use the DualSense with the triggers and everything else. But
but you have HD Rumble. If they really want to make a difference, they could go ahead and add some features for HD Rumble, which would make up for the lack of DualSense.
That's why.
And then the triggers are missing. But like once you minus the triggers, everything else can be there.
That's why I said Astrobot should have been on the PS4. Same thing with Stellar Blade. I'm like, they should have both been on the PS4. Your PS4 is your bigger install base at the moment. You're missing out on a chunk of money. You're just missing out on a chunk of money because everybody ain't went over to PS5 yet. And I'm just sitting there like, bruh, this ain't gonna end well if this ain't selling. And Astrobot won Game of the Year, but you look at them sales and you're like, bruh,
it don't match up.
They don't match up. Like I promise you, if you ask a Sony CEO and they ask you ask them which one would they take, Game of the Year or the Super Mario Brother Wonder numbers. We ain't talking about Odyssey Wonder. Their numbers. They're gonna tell you they want Super Mario Wonder numbers.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
what
it's
they
an
gonna tell you.
easy decision, and like I said, I get it. Astrobot is a great game, but once again, Sony shot themselves in the foot because the crowd that was given that game was the VR crowd. The crowd that didn't get the better game, the VR crowd. So you kind of shot them in the
Pissed them
face.
off. Yeah, and
You
probably
pissed them off because they were hot. Like for
Yeah.
people that were not paying attention, the VR crowd was pissed. They were hot. Like you have a whole PS VR system. You have a second system. Why don't we have this game?
Yeah.
We were the ones that supported it. We're the reason why it's still here. And you gave not only one, but 2 games to it for the flat screen and none to VR. All right, we got you.
Didn't even think about it. They didn't even put a VR mode in Astrobot.
At
They didn't
all.
even put in a VR mode.
And they
But
have a VR.
Capcom goes out their way to put in a VR version, but you won't do it for Astro.
Right.
Santiago, I'm gonna tell you like this: if all 3 of them wind up on the successor, I'm going to need the Annabelle and Doomslayer meme for the next Smash Bros. To be a real thing. I'm gonna need that. Annabelle and Doomslayer, that's gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
That's gonna have to happen.
And then also too, I mean, like to your point too, I mean, a lot of people just look at the award show. Like there's other award shows that exist and games win awards, and those and Nintendo wins awards in those areas.
Right.
They only pay attention to one award show, as if Jeff Keighley's is the only one that exists.
Because it fits.
Jeff's is the best. Jeff's is the best to roast.
Yeah,
it is.
It's definitely the best one to roast and sit with some marshmallows and tea.
Because
and not tea, but hot chocolate.
Because the big homie Joseph shows up every year.
Like I said, Jeff's award show is the jump off. Like you having a down night, you know who to call. But the other ones is gonna take some effort. It's gonna take some work. Like we know what it is.
But we can always rely on one thing at Jeff's awards. Joseph, he's gonna make us look at his
my man Joseph.
Handle business. Handle business.
Hey, put the camera on my baby. Look at him. God damn, bro.
I'm panning. All right, I'm
panning. Like y'all remember seeing them last year? Well, here they are this year. Go ahead and pan again. Pan again. Y'all gonna grow up together.
That's the truth, though. I'm like, bro, and that's why I understand people are happy that Astrobot won, but I'm sitting here looking. I'm like, yeah, Astrobot won, but y'all acting like Astrobot sold 50 million.
Ain't even close.
But that's
not even close to 10.
They didn't pass 2.
The clout is more liked than the sales. Like, my game won Game of the Year. My game got a 90 something on Metacritic.
Basically, just bragging rights.
Yeah, I'm like, bruh. Meanwhile, we still playing Super Mario Odyssey because I love them 8D 8-bit 2D HD levels. Like, bro. Astrobot is like 1.5 mil the last time I looked.
Last time we heard, yeah.
It was less than 2 million.
That was about a month ago.
Give them 12 years. It'll be at 20 million.
Did you say 12 years?
Yeah, give them 12 years. They'll still be counting the sales like they be counting everything else.
But see, that's my concern though, because I know that was a joke, but what I'm saying is with Nintendo's games, even if they started off like this, we would say, okay, it's an evergreen title, it'll sell over the lifespan. But Sony's games seem to just stop. Like once that sale goes, it's it. Unless they go and they do a price drop, then they'll get some more sales, or they bundle it with the console. Then they get, but it's like they don't go back.
Or especially when they get a sequel. When it gets a sequel, it's done.
Yeah.
So I like that team because that team like they was having a good time. They were having fun. I'm like, y'all deserve better sales than this, man. Y'all deserve way better sales.
Blame the Sony fan base, but let it come over to Nintendo, and I bet you it will get a Switch and successor version.
I'm telling you, I'll double dip.
Bro, that game will sell. That
It'll
game
sell.
will. And
It'll
the sad
come
thing,
over.
And the sad
It'll
thing
come
about
over Nintendo and sell triple what it did on PlayStation.
And the funny thing about it is, it won't even touch or put a dent in Mario stuff. It won't.
Nope. Not at all.
Not a bit. So, and Miss K, you're absolutely right. It should have gone to PC too.
It
like,
really should have.
At this point,
PC Crowd has a love of platformers too.
They really do.
So I'm like, you gotta. I don't understand how you make something and you don't. You already putting stuff on PC, right?
Mhm.
You've already done that. So if I'm Sony, I'm looking at, okay, I got the PS5, I got my PS4 that I'm still supporting, and PC. I'm gonna put it on all three if I can do it. Like I said, Stellar Blade should have been on all three.
Lek, I want to point out one thing. A lot of Sony's history is stuff that was borrowed from Nintendo in the first place.
Yeah, it really is.
Especially for all those third parties.
But I will say this too, Lek. Even if, like, let's say, hypothetically, it does come over. Judging by what I know is coming up, it's not going to sell even there because there's a game called Demon Tides that's going to wash it right off the map. Like, it's a better platforming game than Astro Bot. Now, and this is going off of what the developer's showing, and then also their previous game, Demon Turf, that was an amazing like platforming game. It does Astro better in a multitude of ways. So that game is set to show up here pretty soon. So the simple fact that that game is there, and God forbid if a Mario shows up,
right?
It ain't nothing anyway. So it'll be
Mario or
anyway.
Kirby. Or
I'll put it like this: there's one thing that probably could, and that's if Astrobot would show up in Smash, that could work because for some reason a character would shows up in Smash, people go buy that game.
Yeah, that's what my thing is. I'm figuring that would be the route they go. They slide Astrobot onto the system, then slide them right into Smash.
Well, my thing is because if Master Chief if Master Chief actually makes it into the next Smash, I'm pretty sure it's only gonna be like, hey, hold on, y'all let him in.
Right.
They're gonna be begging.
We got somebody. We got a cake on. But that would be the smart thing to do, to be fair. I mean, yeah, to be fair. Well, Jack, Dog Boy got a question for you.
Hey, dude, Jack, what do you think we would get? See, y'all like to play with my emotions. Just look, y'all started off. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try to be mature and I'm gonna try to be calm and answer this question because Dark Void is a great supporter, and I know Dark Void didn't mean no harm behind that question at all.
I don't know. I detect a hint of sarcasm.
No, because I will not allow you to do that to Dark Void. Dark Void is a great supporter, and they genuinely just wanted to know the answer to this question. Now, to answer your question, Dark Void, when will we get a 3D Donkey Kong? I will go out on the limb and say that we will have it announced by when does Nintendo usually do their summer directs? Is it like May-ish?
Middle of June? June.
Okay.
They'll have like either an indie or a game specific direct, and then they'll have the main one. So it's usually like May, June-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay. So I think we're going to get to see and hear about it in May or June, but we will not get it until the following year, roughly around January, February timeframe.
Yeah, because they'll need to hype it up. Plus, you got the park.
Because the park is in May.
So that's
why I say that's why I say around that time frame because it's one of those things to continue that hype. Because we get, like I said, we get it here May 22nd is when it'll be here, and because them tickets are freaking ridiculous. I'm going afterwards. Like that was ridiculous. Like
I'm waiting for the park to calm down.
Yeah, they're gonna have to calm all the way to hell down with the prices.
I thought the price was like, I'll wait.
The thing was because they're doing the whole Epic Universal thing, so they changing the entire park, so it just kind of got caught up in that too.
And I think Universal actually is the reason why they adding that extra to it, because I'm like, y'all ain't slick.
Right. They try and get some extra money.
Yeah.
I will say they will be smart and say, hey, here's this announcement to partner with, letting you know that the Super Nintendo World, whatever, is there along with the Donkey Kong section that you can go to this month if you're in the Orlando area. If you're already in Japan, it's already there, and I don't know about the Cali area. But that's where it's at. And we'll give you more about this game later down the line. And that will I will be sufficed with that simply because one, you acknowledged it, and then two, we're on to something. Like I just want to see what direction they go in it, because honestly, a lot of people that look at Donkey Kong 64, that was collectathon. I don't think we do collectathon at this point anymore.
No.
So I would love to see what direction they go in, or if they just say bump Donkey and go Diddy and go that route, because he's the more popular anyway, to be honest with you. But well, him and Trixie like have that DKC2 revival to where it's like him and Trixie doing their thing.
Would you
or Trixie or Dixie, one or two? They both the same.
Would you be up for like a Diddy Kong Racing return or something like that?
So I've thought about this. I would be down for it, but something that y'all said took me out of it. And going with the whole like Nintendo Kart thing, where everybody's in Mario Kart, and then just
that's right,
giving Mario Kart that real overhaul of like changing it up by adding in a story mode, adding in missions, adding in boss battles, the way that Diddy Kong Racing had, because they had those boss battles. So I feel like they're gonna take elements from that older game, spruce it up, along with some other stuff, which I have always expressed. They need the commentary from the arcade games to come into this, because you don't really understand how much that adds to it. Because the key thing that a lot of people miss, everybody talks about visuals with gaming, sound is another key component that a lot of games miss. So having even, and I've always mentioned like those Plants from Wonder, let them be the announcers, because Toad, please do not do Toad. But do those flowers.
Hold on. Wait.
Let's kick in Michael Key. Let me kick in Michael Key.
No, I was gonna say, look, if it's the Bob Marley, because he gonna be in there jamming.
I mean, have a whole color commentary team. Like if it's the Wonder Flowers, if it's Toad, whoever else, like have a whole color commentating team, to where like depending on what cup you're doing, that's the cast that you'll have announcing those races. So I'm all for it, but I don't think it's gonna be a Diddy Kong Racing solely because Diddy's been out the picture for way too long. But then also too, it makes more sense. Like you don't have to go and create those characters that were any of those characters in other games outside of Conquer and Banjo.
Don't think so.
They may have had cameos in other games, but they were never really like.
But they weren't like real characters per se. So
like the tiger,
the tiger, the mouse, the alligator, like even TT. Like bring TT back.
Well, the alligator was from Donkey Kong 2.
Well,
is he one of the Kremlings?
Yeah, he was a Kremlin.
If Rare would have stayed around, I'm pretty sure Conquer would have been in Smash or something. So so
that's my take on it. Like I don't think Diddy gets anything because Mario Kart is supposed to be this big blowout. At TT or Larmo, yep, exactly. that works perfectly because TT looks just like a Larmo, so it works out perfectly in that nature. So I would say Donkey needs all the space that he can get because he's been gone for so long. But when it comes down to the racing element, you have to go like put him in Mario Kart and call it a day.
Because the other thing I was thinking, like maybe like for the whole commentator thing, because Nintendo still owns 1-for-101, right? Or is that not?
Is that platinum?
It's probably back to platinum.
Probably back to platinum, yeah.
Well, if that's the case, use like the twins from Astral Chain to do one. Have like like mix it up, but have it with people that's not in the game. So you just have it like ridiculously crazy. Like
that could be another Smash element, really.
Yeah, have like Lil Mac and Samus do one, and like have that commentary just be weird. Just
kind of have like the longer the race, the more that they kind of bring up. Like, hold on, what did they just say?
Basically like that. Have like because Ganondorf ain't gonna be just have Ganondorf in there hating on Link the whole time.
See, and there you go. Like, and the fact is, like, even if we're talking about DLC, cool, you can add racers, but it's like, oh, we're adding these commentators as well to this new cup,
that would be funny.
Yeah, that'd be
especially if you have a situation where you don't have Bowser on the track and you are in his castle.
There you go.
So you have him commentating on the race.
Oh yeah,
disparaging Mario and Luigi.
Luigi,
Yeah.
you better not lose.
maybe reference the death stare,
Like,
I don't want to be on the track with Luigi. Have you seen him look
right.
at the people when he rides past? Man.
Like, cause imagine this, it's like that's where majority of, let's say, the memory of the game comes from. Like, it's like, oh, this game is now 20 some odd gigs. Like, what's so big? Because they got a lot of audio in this game to where now they're really playing with you. Because I mean, what was the when I think about the South Park games, if you let them sit there, that dialogue is long. Like, that can go for days. Like, they really thought that out. Even with Trover Saves the Universe, if you sit there in the very beginning of the game watching that TV show, it'll just keep going. And because they thought about the dialogue, they thought about everything to where it's not just a few lines that recycle. It's like a long conversation that happens, even with some of the enemies. If you just sit there like, oh, who is that sitting in the chair? Oh, the big stupid face, think he's gonna, and it just keeps going. So I think, I don't know if Nintendo will go that far, but ultimately having DLC or having like commentators in the same way that Mortal Kombat 1 just went with the whole you got main characters and then you got like those what did they call them? The characters that you can only pick as like backup.
Cameos.
It's like, oh, here's a list of cameos and then here's the list of characters. And then like you said, like there may be, Bowser is a character, but then another like King Koopa might be on the side of the cameos. So the all green Koopa from the cartoons, he might be a cameo.
Oh gosh,
like
that would be awesome. That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
Have them both talking trash to each other, like who's the real one?
Right. So you get to a point to where when we get into multiplayer, not only are you voting on the track, but you also voting on the color commentary as well on who's gonna call for these races. I think that'd be pretty cool if they really think out where we see what game is it? Like when we think about like these fighting games, they really take into account like who's fighting who. Like that's the one credit I give Sparking Zero. They really took into account of like the matchups and the words and the things they said to them. So it's the same thing of what Jay said. Like if I have King Koopa that is on the commentary, but then Peach is racing, he got to get a little very close to HR with some of his comments because hey, chill, man. Like, we know what's up. Like, chill out.
Hey, look, nothing's ever gonna beat Audrey Drake doing that Mario Kart 8 voiceover.
Oh man.
I'm like, okay, you dead wrong for that. Nothing gonna be her doing like, wow, really? So
yes, I think that'll be dope. But to circle back around, yeah, I mean, I think we'll get the announcement in May to match up with the theme park opening up here in Orlando, and then we'll get the actual game that following year to kind of give it time to build up. Because honestly, Donkey Kong's been gone too long. And I think you also have to give Retro time to not only let Metroid breathe, but then also give them time to spruce up DK for it to release that following year.
Plus,
I think they'll be the one working on it.
Plus, I got a feeling the 3D Mario games coming this year. So
it's somewhere.
Probably don't want to cannibalize that. So yeah, you probably really don't want to do that. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Going forward, because this year's gonna be a very interesting one to say the least. At least I believe so. I believe it will. The only other thing I find funny is that like there was so many people during the 8th gen that was saying Nintendo needs to go third party, and it's funny how it's Microsoft doing it. And Microsoft don't even care. They don't care. You tell them they go on third party. They're like, "Oh, we making money.
We're making money.
Oh, we making money. Okay, then.
Clown all you want to.
Right.
We rich."
Right.
So I think that's what it is. And I'm like, at this point, it makes sense. It makes sense for your business model. You want to spend $250 million on a game, and there's a pretty good chance you ain't gonna make your money back. Put it as good places as you can.
Right.
Yep.
Because the majority of these games are using Unreal Engine. And Unreal Engine is playable, is scalable, and playable everywhere. So if majority of them are using Unreal Engine, because there's very few games that have their own customized engine for it.
Right.
Very few.
Which is weird because it's like maybe like a handful of actual engines, but you really don't know a lot for real. Like there's only a handful that you really hear get announced out there. Because even like the Decima engine, I never really knew it was a thing until the Sony crowd just kept talking about it. And I was like, what the hell is the Decima engine? Like, or the emotion engine? And I'm like, okay, sure.
The reason why we all know about the Luminous engine because it just didn't work.
Right.
And they kept trying to make it work, and it's like, bro, it's not working.
It made some very pretty cutscenes.
Yeah, it did. It made some awesome cutscenes. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie in it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. Like, if they ever wanted to do like a sequel to Advent Children, I'm like, hey, do that in the Luminous engine.
Right.
Actually, do a sequel to Final Fantasy VIII that explains some of that stuff that didn't get answered toward the end of that game.
I mean, like the last half of the game.
I was like that game. Once you get into the second half of that game and all the different branching things that came together, it's like
I'm so confused.
Like,
but you know what? I'm loving this fight. I'm loving this combat system.
Like I'm loving the music. I'm loving the combat. I'm loving the music. I'm liking the violence here, but
I'm confused.
Where did the story fall apart?
Why are you worried about the story? Just keep fighting stuff.
Right.
This gunblade is awesome, ain't it?
Cut your hand, shoot you. Cut your hand, shoot you in one swipe.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm kind of wondering because I know there's a rumor that the Final Fantasy 9 was getting a remake, but I'm wondering if they're doing 8. They're not. From what I understand, it's close to being complete if the rumor is true.
Right.
But they just didn't want to because it's not being done like Final Fantasy 7. That's not being,
nothing should be done like Final Fantasy.
That's not going to be episodic. That's not going to be episodic. That's going to be like one game. Like, nah, this is you getting this. You know.
Right.
But
Sony shot themselves. Not Sony.
Square
Enix shot themselves in the foot with that.
Square in the foot. Yeah, that's
square in the foot. So
yeah,
I'm wondering if because I don't think they need to remake all of them. And
no.
I really didn't think they should do 9. Honestly, I didn't think they should do 9, but if the rumor
wasn't
they surprised.
9 wasn't bad.
I mean, 9 was decent, but I don't think it was one of the popular ones. Like
no. 7 makes sense because 7 is just that popular.
Yeah.
7 is damn near the flag bearer for the Final Fantasy series.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I rock with 8 more than anything, along with 10. I know 10 got his remaster, but 8 really needs it because I know they were talking about losing those files, and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
So I'm curious.
Plus, the junction system ain't the best system in the world.
It isn't.
So.
Nah, it isn't.
It's got its use, but yeah, it ain't the best.
Like, if anything, that would be the one that would benefit from like doing what they did with Final Fantasy 7, like making it more action RPG oriented.
Right.
If they're going from that.
Yeah, if they're going to do that, then the junction system would work because then it's like an item in an inventory you can quickly select.
Yeah,
but
doing the turn-based, that ain't gonna work. But all right, people, we're gonna call it. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We appreciate you for coming through and hanging with us tonight. Andre, anything you want to pimp out?
I mean, my discussion continuing why the Wii U wasn't successful. The discussion, pick your poison, Resident Evil or Silent Hill, and discussion is generative AI always bad? Things that people should think about.
Cool. Sandstorm, what you
got? So yesterday we talked about just all the rumors and stuff following Nintendo. Unfortunately, as I just look back, you could not watch that video because it is now officially blocked. I know why. It's the whole NCAA beat that I have on there. I'm not surprised. I was actually realistically, I was trying to see how long it would be until they decided to jump on there. Yeah. So they got 2 videos in. They didn't block the other one, which is kind of surprising, but yeah, right. It'll come. But yeah, so if you were part of that discussion, it was a really good discussion. I'm sure we'll talk about it again at some point. But yeah, that was a good, healthy conversation. We have the Wingin' It podcast today, and tomorrow's the Jill podcast at 7:00. I will be on that one because I haven't been on the last few. So yeah, I'll be over there at 7. with Juice and the rest of them. Other than that, make sure you subscribe to all our affiliates, and just have fun with your games. Don't worry about the specs.
Good luck with that.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck with that. All right, Jack.
So as far as the channel is concerned, I have officially dated when I'm going to do my first live, and that will be on February 6th. It was going to be sooner than that, but I have been sworn into this no spend January. And there's like one or two things I need to purchase before I actually do the podcast. So February 6th will be the date that I actually do my very first live. And then I will like kind of put on Twitter like what I plan to talk about and what I plan to go over. And then, like I said, everybody is free to join if they want to. But it was mainly just kind of like a pilot before I actually kind of go with the full on ideas of what I want to do, which then will be followed up with that following week, which would be the 13th, is when I'll actually start doing my news segments every Thursday. And like I said, that one falls in the same boat because I have to go to Party City and buy some costumes for that situation. So yeah, I'm if you're familiar with my music, where I've had those characters, I plan to kind of take that same idea into these new segments and posting them, just kind of being those boring, here's it on the side, here's me saying what you probably already know, and that's it. I kind of want to play with it a little bit. So but yeah, other than that, like Sandstorm said, support everybody here, along with Sandstorm, not Sandstorm, but Shadow, Vicky, Vito, Noto, and then also too from the music standpoint, TJ the Gamer, he just released his album on the 10th, The Return of the Hero. So please go check that out. 20 songs deep, but it's a great album. Definitely go check it out. And I'm not being biased in that. It's definitely one of those iron sharper iron situations. So I left them a very in-depth review. So it's one of those things. I wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't true. But yeah, so and we also have what was it, 1,000 Star coming up next after this. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for more MSM music as well.
All right. Yesterday I did do an impromptu live just because I haven't done one in a while. I just felt like doing it. So check that out. Played a few fighting games. Still got to figure out what's wrong with my killer instinct. So that was kind of weird. But check that out. Put some gameplay up last week for Yeast, Delta Ghana, and Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. Some 2B gameplay. Hopefully 2B gets in the next Smash because they did a good job with her on Grand Blue Fantasy Rising and Soul Calibur 6. What's up, man?
I think you should talk more on those videos.
And on that note, you're not right. Yeah,
you did it to me.
Yeah,
you did it to me.
I walked right into it too. But yeah, check those out when you have a chance. Especially if you're looking into getting Grand Blue Fantasy Rising. It's actually not a bad game. As far as fighting games are concerned. Grand Blue Fantasy Rising versus. It's actually not a bad game. The first one wasn't bad either. The second one just has more versus has better characters and they balanced a lot of more stuff out. And that's going to be it for us. Thank you guys once again. And as always, we'll be here Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So see y'all next Sunday. Peace out, people.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.